Welcome back to the Adaptive Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Hotho. Today I'm talking with South African adaptive athlete Letchen du Plessis. Letchen is a perennial CrossFit Games athlete. She competed in 2021, 2022, and took first place at the 2024 Adaptive CrossFit Games. And now she's set her sights on something completely different. In this episode, you'll hear what makes her an adaptive athlete, the setbacks that she's faced, and the practical ways that she retrains her body to do more than it thinks it can. Check it out. Welcome back to another episode of the Adaptive Athlete Podcast. I'm here with Letchen du Plessis. Letchen, how's it going today?
It's going well, thank you. It's going well. It's a sunny day here in Cape Town, South Africa, so I can't complain.
Nice. So we were talking before we kind of went live. You've been a CrossFitter for a really long time. Like, I know you started competing in adaptive CrossFit in 2021, but you've been doing CrossFit since before then, even before your diagnosis. Tell me a little bit about what your athletic endeavors were like growing up and then into college, and then we'll get to kind of talking about what made you an adaptive athlete. So
I in high school I played almost every single sport that the high school had except like field hockey. And that's also like a thing in South Africa. You get exposure through your school. Like the school has sports teams and teachers that gives you the sport, etc., and whatever the case might be. So I did swimming, water polo, netball, athletics, track and field. But my main focus was netball and water polo. And obviously you need swimming for water polo, so I can kind of lump that into kind of the one. And then we like part of our netball in our school, we had a CrossFit gym on the school premises.
Oh wow!
And that was kind of a prerequisite or like a requirement that 2 times a week that you need in the mornings, so like 5 a.m. mornings, you need to be in the CrossFit gym and attend a CrossFit class so that you can get stronger and do all your strength work. And it's really cool to see like all the girls that went. It's really cool to see like just how much better our actual like playing on the field also on the court. How it improved.
So you could see how CrossFit like made you better at the sport.
Yeah, 100%. And that was kind of the main reasons, like even after my diagnosis, why I wanted to get back into CrossFit is because that was the best that I've kind of felt ever. And I was looking for that quotation marks feeling again. To be like, shit, I need to get strong again. I don't feel strong. I don't feel capable is the right word. It's like you don't feel like you are ready for life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So when you were doing CrossFit in 2012 and while you were at school, how was it helping you with netball? Because you were describing to me that netball's in colloquial terms like basketball, but then when you catch the ball, you have to stand still. Almost a little bit like ultimate frisbee, maybe. I don't know if you ever played that. Did that make it to South Africa?
Yeah, it did. It did actually make it to South Africa. There was a whole tournament and everything. So that did make it to South Africa. But so CrossFit in that sense of things, you need to be extremely, I want to say, your legs need to be strong, like injury proof, if that makes sense. You need to injury proof yourself. Your core needs to be strong. Your balance needs to be strong. Like you're like, especially from, I want to say from a legs perspective, if you can imagine from a basketball, if you have your basketball hat on, you need to jump for the ball, you need to be able to intercept the ball, your hand-eye coordination, like all of those type of things. And that is stuff that CrossFit really teaches you, like how to move, how to let your body move in space.
Mm-hmm. And have explosive leg power for sure.
Yeah,
like 100%. We joke that every day at CrossFit's leg day. And shoulder day.
Exactly. Exactly. It helped a lot. It really helped a lot.
And were you a scholarship athlete for netball? Like, were you getting really good at it? Were you starting to compete at a high level in it?
Yeah. So from grade 8, so I'm not 100% sure what that is in the States, but from 14 years old, I was in a netball scholarship all through high school. So, and then also for college as well. Okay,
very cool. But then something happened, and usually that's kind of the pivot point for many adaptive athletes who weren't born with their condition, but something happened. And tell me about kind of maybe the moment when that injury happened and then things kind of shifted. from
Yeah,
there?
yeah, yeah. So, I started college on my netball scholarship. I didn't exactly know what I wanted to study. I just knew that I wanted to play netball, and that is what I kind of wanted to make my career out of, because it's a very big sport outside of the States. Try and make that my profession, but you obviously do need a degree to back you up. And I was like, okay, cool. And then 3 months into my like college, on my first year, for netball, like I mentioned with netball, you can't once you catch the ball, the foot that was planted on the ground that you caught the ball with may not. You can pick it up, but you may not put it down again. So that's one of the rules. And I was running towards the goalpost because I was the person that could score goals, and I was running towards the goalpost, and then the ball was thrown behind me. So also, my foot was planted, which means it kind of contorted my body in a weird way, and I like semi dislocated my hip, and I immediately like stopped everything that I was doing, and I knew something was wrong. And then that I had a couple of after that. So that was 2017. I had a couple of surgeries up until 2018 to kind of like 3 or 4 surgeries on my hip to kind of fix the damage that happened. So I tore glutes, my glutes, illusuas, which is one of your like hip flexors, as well as cartilage as well. And then for some, they don't know how, probably because of the injury, that I got a vascular necrosis in the hip as well, meaning that the bone in the hip, it died. And at that stage, I was 19 years old, and the best way to actually treat the vascular necrosis was through a hip replacement. But you don't want to do a hip replacement on a 19-year-old.
Because it's not going to last your whole life.
Exactly. Yeah, especially like not an active 19-year-old. So they were like, okay, cool. There's one other thing that we can give a shot at, and it's a core decompression, but it's experimental. It might work, it might not work, but it's worth a shot. So we said, from myself and my parents, we both said, we're good with that. And basically what it is, they drill a big hole in your entire like hip joint to hopefully help the bone regenerate. So you take out all the dead bone, hopefully stimulate blood flow, stimulate all the new bone growth. That surgery worked actually, which is great, except that like 6 weeks after that surgery, I started losing function in my foot. And I also kind of saw that my leg was slow to react. And also things that normally would be okay is not okay anymore, meaning like if I stand up, my leg would turn all almost purple red. It kind of got worse from there, where I started losing function in my quad, and then I couldn't pick my leg up off the bed anymore. And but like I said, it started with my toes and went up all the way. And then I didn't think much of it, because at that stage, like I mentioned, I was 19 years old. You are invincible at 19, so I didn't think much of it. And then one morning I was like, this is really weird. And I was at college, at university, and I was like, I sent a video to the doctors, the orthopedic surgeons. I sent a video to his physio, and because I had his mobile, and I said, like, listen, I don't think should I be worried? And I just send him a video of my foot that's really really slow to react at that stage. And then once it reacted in a very dystonic way, so dystonia with the contractions. And I from my side thought it was just because I haven't put any weight on my leg for a while now. So I thought it was maybe just the muscles that's being stupid, or the muscles that kind of not know what to do. And then he's like, you need to come. He showed the doctor the video. I need to come in immediately. And it's like, but I have an exam in an hour. He's like, doctor will give you.
But I'm 19. I'm invincible.
Exactly.
You can't call me in right now.
Yeah. And it's like, I have an exam in an hour. He's like, no, doctor will give you a note. You need to come in now. I was like, alrighty, fine, I will. And then
if you insist.
And then I went in, and then they couldn't find I showed the doctor my leg, and then when they saw my leg, it was all purple and red and just all over the place, and you could see it wasn't a healthy leg, and it wasn't muscles, and my quads weren't contracting. I couldn't pick my leg up from the bed. I couldn't move my toes. So, and then it kind of hit home, like, oh shit, but something is actually wrong. like they are concerned something is actually wrong here. It's not normal. At this age, I've never had this kind of surgery, so I didn't. And for me, it was like, oh, it's part of the process, but actually, it was not part of the process. And then they couldn't find a pulse in my foot at the doctor's office.
Whoa.
So they immediately admitted me, and then had like done every single scan that you can imagine they've done, like from a brain scan, brain MRI, then they scanned my whole back and hip and knee and ankle and everything to see and also went for angiogram to be like, what is the problem? Where is the problem coming from? Because it was quite a big neurological like outfall, which I didn't like for myself. I didn't at that stage think this was such a big problem. And then all of a sudden everybody's panicking. It's like, shit, maybe I should also panic. But
you're 19. 19-year-olds don't panic.
Exactly. In any case, and then looking back now, like I think that kind of also saved myself, because if I were to panic, I probably wouldn't have handled it as well as I did. And then I think we spent about 3 months trying to figure out what is the problem, because they could just see a lot of atrophy in the leg. So they could see like there was a faint pulse, but when they did the angiogram testing. So there was a faint pulse, but there was all the muscles atrophied, the bones atrophied with the bone density scans as well. Obviously, because I also didn't put weight through the leg because of the surgery that I had, so I couldn't put a lot of weight through it. But then ultimately, after a lot of tests, and like 3 months down the line, they're like, okay, cool. We literally made sure it can't be anything else. So we think you have CRPS and dystonia. That brought on dystonia. And then I was like, okay, great. We have a diagnosis. Now what? It's like, sorry, there's not a lot that we can do for you. We can prescribe you some pain meds and give you a splint to walk with, if you need one. But that is about what we can do. So.
Right. And we've had Dan Long was on. He has CRPS. I think Faith Fordham in the community also has CRPS, and there might be more. And I don't think you're the first person on the podcast with dystonia, but as I've gotten to know more people with these sorts of disabilities, correct me if I'm wrong here, and you work in software, and so I kind of work around systems and that kind of stuff. And it feels like CRPS is sort of like an error happened, and your brain said there was pain here, but they never cleared the error logs. And it's kind of just like, okay, there's still something wrong here, and I'm going to overreact to this pain or this place where pain was. Am I kind of in some ways catching on to what that's like?
Yeah. So for CRPS is I literally I said my leg throws a tantrum, my leg and my body just throws a tantrum So when I was first diagnosed, like I couldn't stand, still now sometimes, I couldn't stand the feeling of hot water, like a shower, like hot water running, because it felt like someone is literally throwing boiling water over your leg. And your leg would also respond as if someone is throwing boiling water over you, and your body as well, not just the leg, like your entire nervous system. So I would, like, every time after a shower, I needed to go and actually take a nap or go to bed, because it was just a nervous system overload, because it does tax your central nervous system quite a bit. And that is something that I needed to get used to, and they also didn't think that I'd be able to hold like a full-time job, because of kind of the impact that it has on your central nervous system. And it's kind of still currently, if I have a very stressful period at work, but I also have a very stressful period like in personal lives as well, my body kind of just shuts down, and like there's nothing that I can do. I need to go to bed and I need to sleep this off. Like it doesn't help if I just sit in front of my desk and I'm not going to mean anything. Words sometimes don't even come. So it is something because it's not like it's not just the place where the injury happened. It's like a whole central nervous system issue. That's with the CRPS. And the dystonia is like, I usually just tell, it's like I had my toes, I would say, wave at people, like because they were just literally contracting in the same rhythmic pattern the whole time. And I was like, okay, great. So the dystonia from my side, but there is obviously different types of dystonia. So my specific dystonia is the muscles get confused between the messages. So all that they do is they just contract and they don't know when to release. So it's like, oh shit, but I don't know what to do. Okay, cool. I'm just contracting and I'm not releasing. So I say that the signals get crossed and wires get crossed, and then the signal is like, okay, because they would tell me move your big toe. It's like, shit, I don't know how to do that.
Like you're saying, you're thinking the thought, I want to move my big toe, and that's not happening.
Yeah, and nothing is happening, for example.
Yeah. So a couple of things I appreciate there. One, I mean, we're going to get to this a little bit later, but I mean, your mindset throughout this whole thing is just remarkable. I mean, the sense of like, you know, I couldn't panic, right? I knew that I couldn't panic. And then I think you may have said this here, I may have just read this in another article, but that you like sort of, even though it was painful to put your leg underwater, you did it so that it wouldn't necessarily become less painful per se, but that you just wanted to, I don't know, what was your mindset there when you're like, I'm going to just confront this head on?
Yeah. So basically when people also message me online that has CRPS and it's like, how are you doing what you are doing? And then my answer is like, normally like, you're not going to like what I'm going to say, but the pain that you are feeling, you need to push through it at times.
Yeah.
Because that is how you're going to teach. I say that I gaslight my body to be like, this is fine, don't worry, you're fine. So that is the best, that is literally the best way I can describe it. But it's not fun, and it's really not a, it's not it's called exposure therapy as well. So I literally had, like I said, I couldn't stand hot water. So I said to myself, okay, every single day I started with like 2 seconds. Every day I need to have 2 seconds let the water run over my leg. The next week you do 3 seconds. The week after you do 4. Up until that where you are at a place where you can actually tolerate it and you are fine, because you are teaching your body like, this is okay, this is fine. And it's even like stuff that I still but I still experience it now. Like my hip would sometimes just be like, just for some reason throw a tantrum and just be sore. And then I need to kind of take a step back to be like, okay, is this actually a problem? Or is this just my body kind of throwing a tantrum? So when can I push past it? But when should I stop and be like, take inventory, like, okay, is this actually a problem? Is this something I need to stop now and do something else? It's something that I still struggle with, but that is how you kind of, you get to know your body. And that is what I think the beauty of CrossFit and the beauty of sport also comes in, is to be like, you learn how your body responds in certain situations, and you also teach your body that it's okay to be in that situation, and you will make it out of it. You'll make it out of it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be glib with the idea of gaslighting, but I love that idea of gaslighting your body.
It's true.
I love that idea. Like I might take that one with me into some of my training.
Yeah, I mean, that's I like for my I do it quite a bit. My friends do laugh at me because for example, but it's not a good thing to do. But I would be sick and I say to myself, no, I'm not sick. Like but I'm like coughing and everything. Like, no, I am not sick. So it's just it's a thing that it helps a lot, especially I think if you are struggling with something that struggling with something that you know that a little bit each week will help a lot, but it's extremely, extremely difficult to get to that a little bit. And that's like I from my side, that is kind of why I started CrossFit again, is because I literally I lied in bed after my like injury, after everything, and they were like, listen, we can't do anything for you. And then I had an amazing doctor that kind of my physio took a video and she sent it through to him, my parents as well, to be like, listen, this is a problem. They told us we can't do anything for her. And he's like, no, he has a solution, and that's the spinal cord stimulator that they implanted. And that literally, I would say, that made such a massive, massive a difference. And a couple of weeks after that surgery, so spinal cord stimulator is basically like a pacemaker for your nerves. So they implant it onto your spinal cord, and I have a little device that I connected to, and it basically sends impulses and unscrambles the signals that the CRPS is sending through your nerves. It like dims that signals, but also unscrambles it a little bit. And that made it's such a cool device, and there are studies that they're using it for like people with incomplete spinal cord injuries to actually not walk again, but with the help of a walker, walk longer, for example. So it's like steps in the right direction with these type of devices. And then like 6 weeks after I got that device like implanted, I messaged the old CrossFit coach that's still at the school, and I said to him, like, listen, this entire thing happened to me. Can I have a little spot in the gym to I don't want to join classes. I don't want to do anything. I just want to see what my body is capable of now, and what can I do. And that was, I want to say, kind of, and he said, yeah, let's do it. And at that stage, I was pretty open about what was happening, but I wasn't very comfortable in leaving the house and people actually seeing me struggle to walk, because at that stage, I really, really struggled to walk.
This is 6 weeks after, kind of.
Yeah, this was after, so this was 2019.
Okay.
So this was like a year after being diagnosed, but 6 weeks after they implanted the
spinal cord stimulator.
The spinal cord stimulator.
How long were you kind of a bit more, I'll use the word reserved. How long were you a bit more kind of to yourself?
Up until the end of 2019.
Okay.
Up until the twin. And it's something that I still sometimes struggle with. I think it's where you don't want to be different, but making you different is actually your, not want to say superpower, but that what's making you different is actually really cool.
Yeah.
But it is sometimes that I still struggle with it. Because I like I said, I really, really struggled to walk. And I was this athlete that trained 2 or 3 times a day. And then all of a sudden, like, I literally, like, if I go downstairs and back upstairs, I need to go to bed. I need to sleep, because I'm physically exhausted, but also I'm dragging my leg along.
Yeah. And you feel like there's like this outward invisible sign of this thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then he said to me, yeah, please come. The CrossFit coach now, he's like, yeah, please come. It will be great. We'll help you. And then I think I walked in and out of that gym probably 6 times before I actually got back to my car. I just sat there in my car to be like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And then went in. Had my little, kept to myself. Had my little space in the corner that I usually trained in.
What changed after that 6th time of saying I can't do this? What got you out of the car and in there?
Someone saw me and called me over.
Oh, okay.
That is okay. I don't think if someone did not see me, I would have probably just went in my car and drove away, because I was really, really scared, and I was ashamed is also the right word, if that makes sense. Like I wasn't ashamed of the state my body was in. I was more ashamed of my abilities and how people would perceive me and what people would think of me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that is, I'm 20 years old. So if netball was my identity, being active was my identity, and that was kind of stripped away from me. And these people knew you as the one that these people knew you as you were active. So and then like I mentioned, I stayed in my little corner, tried to figure out. I also worked with an amazing physio that I would say to her, listen, I'm struggling with burpees. What can we do? And then I would be able, at her practice twice a week, to be like, okay, let's try this next time. And then I would go into the gym and I would give her feedback to be like, okay, I'm trying this. This is not working. I'm trying that. And then I decided to only join after, I think, 3 or 4 months of being in the little corner by myself. Then I actually only decided to join a CrossFit gym, and that was in 2020, just after lockdown in South Africa ended. I decided to join in on the classes again, and it was there, when I joined in on the classes, was where the most growth and the most improvement, I want to say, came in. And normally when people ask me, how did I get back into CrossFit? And I was like, I didn't do it to become fit. I did it because I was sick and tired of feeling the way that I did.
Yeah.
And I knew that I knew that getting out there was going to be hard, but I knew that lying in bed the whole time and basically sulking and wasting away is also going to be hard. And that's kind of where my I want to say my power lied, was in the decision. My decisions were taken away from me. I didn't decide to do this. I hate being in the position that I was in. I feel like all your choices were stripped away from you. But that was kind of where I could make a decision. I could decide to either lie in bed and sit there by myself or sulk, or I could decide to actually go out there, do the hard things, but time is going to pass any case. So let's do the hard things and see. And don't get me wrong, it was extremely difficult, and there was a lot of almost tears and frustration and a lot of frustration.
Yeah, I'm sure there were some days where there weren't just almost tears. If it's like anything I've experienced, like
exactly. No, exactly. Yeah. So I think most adaptive athletes would experience the just why is this so difficult?
Mm-hmm. This. And sometimes in a group class, and why is it not so difficult for you?
Exactly. Like, if you only knew how much concentration, what you are asking me, like, to a box jump. Like, I had a coach, because it was his first time. He's like, can you do a box jump? It's like, I've actually never tried since I've been diagnosed. Like, I don't know if I can do a box jump. And he's like, okay, let's try. And that, I think, is what I appreciated so much, is people I imposed limitations on myself, but then because you kind of know your body, know what you've been through, but then they don't, and they're like, okay, cool, but let's try. And that is something that I absolutely love about CrossFit, was that I couldn't do a box jump, but I could do a plate hop. And then I can do two, I can move over a couple of months. Okay, cool. Now you can do, as your body gets stronger, like, okay, now I can put stack another plate onto it. And now I can do box jumps. Only this year, it took me like 4 years to actually be able to do a box jump. No, more than 4 years, 5-6 years to actually do a box jump. Yeah. But it's because you show up every day and you continue. That's this continuous improvement, and that doesn't mean that you are like working yourself to death every single day. It just means that you show up for yourself every day, and that doing that one thing or the 1%. It's not the training until you are lying on the floor gasping for breath. It's not that. It's just literally just showing up every day, making sure that you can be fit for life and make sure you can do things in life, actually. Picking up things off the ground and putting stuff overhead. It's all stuff that I struggled with that CrossFit gave me back. So.
Right. And so at some point, CrossFit gave you back the ability to walk upstairs without getting as tired, to ride your bike, to be the athletic Letchen that you were before your diagnosis. And then we're going to shift gears here. You took CrossFit to the next level. So from what I've read, you saw the games happening in 2019. You're like, I want to do that. And then in 2021, you end up at the games. You place second to the one and only Shannon Ogar.
Yes.
In 2022, you come in third. In 21, I think you also, or maybe it was 22, you had the viral moment of running a 5K.
Yeah, that was 21. That was 21. Yeah.
And that opened up a huge opportunity for you.
Yeah. It like that. So just to kind of put that into perspective, when they announced it, myself and my coach, we sat in the hotel room and I looked at her and was like, what are we going to do? Because I can't run. Like, what are we going to do? And she's like, okay, the minimum work requirement is this. Maybe we just do the minimum work requirement. And I looked at her and I was like, you know what's going to affect me more is if I do it and stop and then not complete, just do the minimum work requirement and don't even give it a shot. So I said to her, like, listen, I'm going to try my best and I want to finish this because I know that it's going to impact me mentally. Like, I think if I don't even give it a shot, like I feel like that's the first event of the games that I trained so hard for, that I want to kind of show for myself that, listen, all these years, all these that we chatted about, all these, the exposure therapy, all the physio sessions, or everything is kind of worth it now, because look, like you kind of redeemed's not the right word, but you kind of fought yourself back.
Yeah.
And then your first event is something that you cannot do. And then I did the 5K. I think I finished that 5K with maybe like 10 seconds to spare. I think we had like 45, maybe more. I don't know exactly what the time frame was I think it was 45 minutes for the 5K. And I did it with a hop, skip, and a jump. I couldn't run, but that viral video kind of made the right people reach out to kind of get me where I am today. And that's with the braces too. And they are they send me braces and say to me, please break them. And I was like, okay, cool, we'll do. And I'll give you feedback. And then I break one that I don't break them often, but I broke one. And then like, okay, cool, what did you do? And I give them some feedback. I'm like, okay, great, here's a new one. Please break this one. So okay, we'll try my best.
And that relationship started after the 21 games. Okay.
Yep.
So then 22, you placed third. 2023, you didn't compete. 2024, you placed first. Let's go. In San Antonio, which is where I got to meet you, which was really cool. But I want to go back to a moment from the 2022 games, and that was rinse and repeat. Because so that year, rinse and repeat was really cool because it was the same workout for every athlete who came to those games. It was the one first and only time they've ever done that, I think. And I was just rewatching it. And you placed 28th out of every woman at those CrossFit games. Able-bodied, adaptive. You smashed that workout. And then afterwards, there was some emotion that you were just released. Can you, as much as you're comfortable, can you walk me through kind of that experience, that workout?
So I'm not a very emotional person at all. Like, so for me to actually show emotion to that level, there was a lot of build up. So like I mentioned, I knew that I injured my hip before I went to the games. My coach couldn't come with me because she fell off a rope and broke her ankle and had to have surgery. So my coach couldn't come with me. So I was basically alone there. And then my mom surprised me by like buying a ticket, and my mom surprised me actually being there as well. So my mom got to see me compete. And then that whole weekend really did not go according to plan, that whole weekend. But Shannon obviously stepped up and turned from competitor to coach. For some, I don't know how that happened. I still to this day don't know how that happened. But Shannon, and so she knew my whole story and everything. And that whole weekend really did not go to plan at all. And swimming for myself while I was, like I said, I couldn't walk, but I could swim, and because I can use my shoulders, and I was a good swimmer. And the pool at that stage, when I first got diagnosed, was a way for me to escape, because training was escaping, but I couldn't train because I really struggled. But the pool, because it was so low impact, it's something that I could do. So it's also a very good meditation from my side. It was a very good meditation because it's literally only you and your breath and the strokes and the water. Like, you can't listen. I couldn't listen to music. You have to sit with your thoughts, and you have to actually deal with the thoughts that's there. You can't just keep them away. So swimming was kind of my safe space and my happy place, where I kind of felt like I could solve the problems that I'm facing, and then tackle them from there on. And during that workout, I felt the same calm when I jumped into that water and I was swimming, and I felt so incredibly calm. But it also then, while I was swimming, so I was actually crying while I was swimming because I was like, this is the reason why I've like fought to get myself back, because you do lose yourself a bit. So this is what, like, here, this exact thing that I'm experiencing with all the people around me, my mom being able to be there and see what how far I've come. That was the whole reason why I did what I did for the past 3 years on that side of things, like the past 3 years, 4 years. And it was just, after I've done, I realized like I'm the only one that's still in the pool. Nobody else is going. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to continue on and let's see where this goes. And then I was like overcome with emotion, like I mentioned. And when I saw my mom, even after the workout, I also started crying again because it's like, yeah. So it was just like, I think it was a buildup of emotions of the weekend really didn't go well and didn't go according to plan. I didn't have the best, like I didn't have my coach there. I didn't have the people there that I like trained with for the whole year. So, and then that workout came and it went really well. And it was just, yeah, it was something I think a little boost that I needed for myself to be like, listen, it's not all about like where you place on the leaderboard or where you are. It's actually getting there and being able to show to yourself, listen, man, this is what you trained for. This is what you fought for like 3-4 years to actually get here. So it's just a overrun with emotion.
Oh, man. And there's something beautiful too about the water, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because like I grew up on the Gulf Coast of Florida, so I was always around the water.
Okay.
And at a young age, when I wanted to escape, I would just go to the bottom of a pool and hold my breath for as long as I could, right? Yeah. Because you can't. You're right. You can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Like you're there with your thoughts.
Exactly.
Oh man, I'm so glad that you had that experience.
Yeah. Same.
Thank you for sharing that.
No worries. Yeah, it was and I think what was great was experiencing with all the people that were there as well. Like all the athletes. I think Amy, even afterwards, I think she also started crying and I started crying. So it was just, I think it was a highlight, definitely a highlight of my, at this stage, the entire CrossFit career. So,
real quick, before we move off of that, do you know who Rebecca Fuselier is from CrossFit Bowl?
Yes.
So you beat her in that workout. Just
okay,
FYI.
I did not
by 37 cals. Okay. So I'm just looking at the leaderboard right now. I was looking for names of athletes that you beat that everybody might know. And I was like, you beat Rebecca Fuselier in that workout. Well done, Letchen. Well done. Do you have any other highlights from your CrossFit career before we kind of jump to what you're doing now?
Yeah, I think obviously getting first last year was, it was really something, and it's not just, I want to say not just the first place, because no matter where you place on the leaderboard, actually just getting there and showing up for yourself, and because it's just a representation of you showed up for yourself every single day. That's the reason why you are there. But for me, it was like, okay, cool. I've gotten second, I've gotten third. It really sucks that I haven't gotten first yet. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, let's go for it. And like I mentioned, it was like the fittest and strongest that I've ever been. But it's just kind of the right segue, because like a month before the games, I completely tore my rotator cuff, bicep, and labrum, and I was literally sitting there. Like I said, went back to the water because I moved to Cape Town, and I sat there watching the beach and the sunset. My all the people that I worked with made me this incredible video to say good luck with the games, because I was sitting there like, I don't know if I should compete. I don't know if it's a good idea, because I know that my shoulder is messed up, and I don't know if it's a good idea, and et cetera, et cetera. And then when that video came through, I was about to like make the decision, should I do it, should I not? And that video came through. It's like, okay, it's done. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's a sign. I'm doing it. So knowing that, like, I overcame a lot of, and I didn't want to tell anybody that I injured my shoulder. I was also extremely sick while doing the games as well. I had like I had the flu. So I was very sick there as well. But I just said to, like I said, the gaslighting kind of really works, because me and my coach, we both say to each other, we know about your shoulder, but we're not going to talk about it. It's fine. And the same went for, we didn't acknowledge that I was sick, because my resting heart rate was still good. Everything else was still good. So we're like, okay, cool, we good. We're not acknowledging it, because the moment you acknowledge it and give it attention, it is, you feed into it, if that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah, so that was kind of I want to say last year was really one of my biggest, I want to say mental achievements more than anything else, because I had one goal in mind, and that goal was I wanted to win because I wanted to prove to myself that I can, even overcoming everything that I did. And I was like, cool, I wanted to win, so I'm going to do everything in my power that I can. And so with the bum shoulder and with being sick, like we came first, and I think I told you, like, after I walked off the podium, it's one of my favorite. One of my favorite. After I walked off the podium, I saw my coach and I gave him a very, very big hug, and I just started crying, and I said to him, my shoulder is really sore. And he's like, he knows. He knows. I was like, okay, cool, great. I'm happy if we're on the same page, because this is not fun.
And somewhere deep down your shoulder goes, stop gaslighting me.
Yeah, they are basically.
No.
So
No, I think that's beautiful. I think that's, and it seemed like you and your coach have a really close relationship.
Yes. Yeah, no, we do. Even like after, like right before podiums, they all went down to in San Antonio, down to the water there. And we sang Zombie. There was a guy singing live there. And I'll pop you the video. But then me and my coach, we were all hanging, like swinging around, and we were just singing Zombie. He had a couple of margaritas. I had a sip of a margarita. So it was a very, that was also one of the highlights, to see his hard work, because he also obviously puts a lot of effort into my training and into like myself. So it was really cool to see his hard work pay off, and he was there, his daughter was there, my mom was there. So it was just a really, really amazing experience. So, yeah.
That's awesome, Letchen. I'm so glad you had that experience, that you got that win, that you got that. So let's talk about what you're working on now, which is really cool and awesome and requires a lot of time. So what are you training for that's happening in 15 days?
Yeah, I'm training so in South Africa, it's the Mossel Bay 70.3 Ironman, so the half Ironman.
Okay.
So Mossel Bay is the kind of the town that it takes place, and it is South Africa's hardest Ironman. Don't ask me why I decided on this one.
For elevation reasons?
Yes. Yeah. So it's a very hilly bike course and a very hilly run course. Fun. And a very open ocean swim as well. So it's one of the more tougher courses. But it is I was actually supposed to do the one in May, I think. Yeah, in May. I was actually supposed to do the Ironman in May, the half Ironman in May. Mm-hmm. But I had to have my shoulder surgery in February, because I wanted to see if my body can heal my shoulder by itself, because with CRPS, like we mentioned, it is always the risk of it spreading. Yeah. But then we saw my body wasn't healing. A pair of 5 kg dumbbells humbled me during a bench press session. And I was like, okay, no.
Okay, we got to do something.
So, we got to do something about this. And then I'm like, okay, great. So had the surgery, was out for a couple of months, like 3 months almost. But also kind of said to the physios and the buyers that were rehabbing here in South Africa, I said to them, no, I'm going to show you guys what is possible in 6 weeks. So or in 7 weeks. Obviously, he took what the doctors had recommended and made sure to kind of stick to his things, but also not be conservative, because motion, I think, or movement heals. And the more you move, and if you move smart, you can actually accelerate your healing process quite a bit and get you back onto everything quite a bit. So so moved my Ironman to now. So I was actually supposed to do it in May, and now I'm doing it now, because I had to focus on getting my shoulder back. And I also had another surgery, like 4 weeks after my shoulder surgery. I had to have another surgery to replace the spinal cord stimulator, because my battery, which is very strange to say, but my battery went flat of the device. So they had to replace the battery of the device that's located in my tummy. So underneath the skin of my tummy.
That's what happens when you're a robot.
Yeah, exactly. So they had to replace the battery, which is, I just said, when it rains, it pours, because I'm like, okay, great. So I was in the sling while they were doing surgery on my on my back and everything as well. But so after that, I was like, okay, cool, great. Let's focus on Ironman. And it, like you mentioned, it takes a lot of time, but never in my life even like I haven't done Ironmans before my diagnosis. It's always something that I wanted to do. And now to be able to say, like, listen, I am 15 days away of completing this, and I actually feel ready to do this, is I don't have the right words to actually describe the feeling other than I am so incredibly grateful, but not just grateful for the people that are like helped me to get where I am now and made sure that I can't give up, and just made sure that, listen, your head is on straight. Because it's not as, like, I think most adaptive athletes, it is extremely frustrating when you train with able-bodied athletes and you see them do something so incredibly easy and you are struggling your ass off. There's no different way to kind of say it. You are struggling so much. Like, the running is that part of me. The running and the cycling is those for me, because with swimming I just use my arms. But with running and cycling, I'm always the one that's either cycling I'm like in the middle bunch, but running I'm always last in, because there's no way to compete with able-bodied people on a or keep up with them, not compete, but keep up with them with the especially on the track. Like, I can't keep up with them. But that is, I want to say, that's the beauty of it, that most of them don't see me as a adaptive athlete. And I don't know if I'm grateful or if I'm disappointed in that. I haven't figured it out yet. But what I love is they treat me like this the same. Everybody's there trying to conquer something, and they don't see me as anything different, as someone to try and conquer the same with themselves, trying to better themselves, trying to conquer something. And I think that is what is so incredibly, I want to say, incredible for myself, because I think in CrossFit, because they isolated the adaptive athletes, it's fantastic that they've done that. But I do think it kind of takes away the hard work that the athletes put in to be able to showcase to everybody, not just the adaptive audience, but to the whole CrossFit audience, that, listen, we are also here to conquer things, and if we can do something like this, nothing is stopping you to achieve what you want to achieve.
Yes.
It's not so. Yeah, that is a personal opinion of myself, and that is what I'm enjoying about the triathlon training at this stage, is that it's almost not a level playing field at all, but it's everybody's there, and you are training with able-bodied athletes and competing with able-bodied athletes, and you get to during competition chat and see and with people that does not experience it the same way you would. And that perspective for myself, as well as for people that are able-bodied, is really cool to see, to give another perspective. And that is something that I feel like sometimes, because the adaptive athletes are now kind of isolated, it kind of feels like that part is a bit missing, if that makes sense.
No, I completely agree. I mean, I think as adaptive athletes are finding their voice more and getting more comfortable telling their stories and taking up space. That's not the phrase I want to use, but I'm going to use that phrase anyways, taking up space. Then when they go back into able-bodied environments, they're able to be there, hold their own, and also say, and here's why I'm here. Here's what makes me a little bit different, but that doesn't mean I can't compete alongside you. Exactly. And by the way, if you know somebody or at some point in your life become an adaptive athlete, now you know me.
Yeah, exactly. No,
and so it's building more of these connections.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, exactly. So like I said, I would have never in my life thought I'd be able to say, like, listen, I'm 15 days out of Ironman. And like we mentioned, tomorrow I have a 21 kilometer training run, so a half marathon training run that I need to do. And then I struggled to walk 100 meters a couple of years ago. And now I am running a 21 kilometer training run and going to do that after I cycled 90 kilometers. So it's just it plays mind games with you if you think back. But when I also think back, I'm just so incredibly grateful to be able to be where I'm at, and also to the people that make this a possibility and don't let you give up and be the best version of yourself.
And I think if anybody follows Letchen on Instagram, which if you don't, you should, and we'll put her handle in the show notes. You regularly, not too often, but regularly share that video of just, hey, here's where it started. to remind, I think it's to remind yourself, but I think it's really nice to remind the people who follow you too, that like, this is all possible after this, right? At some point there existed, and it got deleted when the CrossFit gym I went to closed, but the video of the first time I was ever able to do an unassisted air squat.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. It was like, I'd been training this, and then I just squatted below parallel, and it was like, whoa, it worked.
Yeah.
And the excitement and the joy, right? And now to be like, oh, and now I like front squat 185 and, you know, compete at the games, right? Like, it's like,
exactly.
oh.
Oh, this is normal now. This is our new normal. Exactly. But that wasn't the norm. So
Right. And so, so for you to be like, oh my gosh, I'm 15 days out from an Ironman. And like, who would have thought? So Saturday, November 14th.
Yeah.
It sounds like, if my mathing is mathing, you're throwing down. How can people follow you? I realize there's probably not going to be a live stream necessarily for an Ironman, but is there a leaderboard that we can track you on, or that kind of thing?
There's a tracker, the Ironman tracker. So you can download the Ironman app and go to Ironman Mossel Bay. You will see the live races, and you click on Ironman Mossel Bay, and then you just search my name, and my name would pop up, and you can track me to see, did I survive the swim? Yes or no? Did I survive the bike? Yes or no? Did I survive the run? Yes or no? And where are you on the bike course? And where are you on the run course? So so it's quite a cool live tracker that you can you can track the athletes and see where everybody's at.
So what do you think? Actually, I'll save that question for a second. We're going to jump to a lightning round, and then I've got a question that I'm going to come back to you at. Okay. So for a lightning round, here's a couple of questions for you. So I think you like coffee. I've seen from your social media stories that you're always drinking coffee. What's your go-to coffee drink, and what makes a really good cup of coffee?
I like a cortado with almond milk. I don't know if everybody know what a cortado is, but it's a double shot espresso, equal parts espresso with milk, almond milk. And if the best coffee is at this stage, after a long run or a long cycle, that's the best coffee that you can ever ask for.
Yes. So you earn your coffee.
Yes.
I like that. If you had to make like an ideal CrossFit workout, what would be one or two movements in it?
Power cleans and power cleans, definitely. I'm gonna say a rope climb, because I've actually gotten okay in rope climbs and I enjoy them now. So I want to say power cleans, rope climbs, and some sort of push-up, pull-up movement, I would say, and with a row or ski thrown in there.
Okay. I like that. Yeah. Well, and we're not going to have time to talk about all the high rock stuff that you might want to get into, but man, all of those things are things that would make you a great high rocks athlete too. And you, similar to me, are probably built to succeed at high rocks. Just we're taller, we've got longer levers, all that kind of stuff. Finally.
Don't let me do gymnastics or any sort of snatching, because it's a long way down.
Yes. And then I'm like, I'm not starfishing. My arms are just that long. I don't know what you want me to do with my arms. What do I even do with these things?
Exactly.
That's funny. What is your go-to competition snack?
Jelly
before
tots.
A workout. Sorry?
Jelly tots. Do you know what jelly tots is?
I don't know what jelly tots are.
It's I think it's probably South African sweet, but it's basically little gummies that is coated with sugar. And it's like the only thing that does not upset my stomach. And I eat it before, I eat a pack before, normally for workouts. I eat it during cycling. I eat it during running. Like, I always have jelly tots with me, because it's a quick source of carbs, and it packs a lot of sodium. I don't have to buy goos or the gels all the whole time or stuff like that. So, but I'll pop you a message on what jelly tots look like. But I think it's probably a South African sweet.
And that'll be your go-to on the Ironman too?
Yep.
Okay, nice. What's like, if you are in the gym and you get to pick the music, what do we get to listen to?
Ooh, depending on the workout, if it is like a grinded through, then probably some dance or house music, if you just have to like grind through. But if it's lifting, I really enjoy like rap music. Don't ask me
Yeah.
why. I don't I don't know why, but if it's lifting, and if it's zone two work, something that is a little bit more calmer. Yeah, something a
Okay.
little bit more calmer. So yeah.
And you were also saying before we went live that that like podcasts have become your go-to
Yes.
thing too on those zone
Yeah.
two things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of podcasts. Huberman Lab. And we jam together.
Nice. Nice. Cool. Well, as we kind of wrap up, I think I wanted to jump back to mindset for a second, just because I feel like that's been a large part of your story. And I think something that I've taken away from this conversation with a lot of gratitude, actually, the idea of truly gaslighting your disability sometimes, because I know as me, growing up with a disability, I've had 39 years now to sort of let the disability win in some ways mentally. Because when I was younger, I just kind of said, oh, this is who I am. And so I'm just going to be a brainiac and not do sports and all that kind of stuff. Right. So I've had to like spend the last 6 years working on that. So I'm going to work on that. But my question for you is, when you go into this swim on the Ironman, we were talking about rinse and repeat and how you love the water and swimming and the ability to just kind of be with your thoughts. What is there a mantra or is there a mindset that you're going to be taking with you as you go into that part to kind of start this, what will be a 70.3 mile journey?
Yeah. We'll probably also see from my social media. There's a phrase that I've used since I actually started, or since my diagnosis, or since I've been diagnosed, and it's onwards and upwards. And I know it's extremely like cheesy, etc. However, it is something that I carried with me. My dad even made me a Stanley bottle that he engraved onwards and upwards on.
Wow.
And it's just because I really, really believe that, like, even when I felt like I was on my lowest, I was like, it can only go better from here. And then something would happen. And I was like, oh, shit, but now it can really only go better from here. And I think from when I go into like workouts or anything of life where like, this is going to be really hard or whatever the case might be, it's like, it's either going to, I'm either going to learn something from this experience, or I'm going to like be like, maybe this is not something that I should have done. But it's definitely my motto in life is I want to move onward. Like, I don't want to look back because you can't change stuff that happens in the past. It doesn't help if you're salty and you sulk and whatever the case might be. Go on, and the moment you're moving forward, the chances of you moving upwards are 50-50. You're going to either go up or down. So I choose to be positive. So I believe if I move forward, I'm going to move up. And if you go down a little bit, the next step is probably going up again. So, and that is just how life is. So that is something that I've been carrying with me since being diagnosed and taking into my my training for Ironman, training for next year and training for the year after. Is like, you have the goals and you can only move forward from where you are now. And that's that incremental, like I said, incremental change and incremental like build that you do is showing up for yourself every single day. So yeah, that's probably onwards and upwards is going to stick with me throughout that whole race. So yeah.
I love that. I love it also because it's a hilly race.
My legs are going to be tired.
Yeah. You're going to kill it. I can't wait to follow along. My last question that I always like to wrap up with is if you go back and encourage a younger version of yourself before your diagnosis, before she knew anything that was coming her way, what would you tell her?
It's something actually myself and my coach chatted about today, actually, because we had a check-in call this morning. And I said to him, like, I spent a lot of time finding my identity in the sport that I do. So, like, I'm Letchen the CrossFitter, or I'm Letchen the runner, or the netball player, or whatever the case might be. And that is actually not who I am. I'm the work ethic that is behind the achievement. If that's like, I'm not my achievements, but I'm the work ethic behind the achievement. So, I'm not a, how can I say this? If I'm not I'm not a CrossFitter, but I am the person that works very hard to get where I'm at. And the same goes for work. So that's something that someone can't take away from me. Like, the CrossFit will stop at a stage, or triathlon will stop at a stage, or you will lose your job at a stage, or whatever the case might be, then you don't lose your identity, because your identity is the work that you've put in to actually get there, and nobody can take that away from you. So that is something that I if I were to go back to myself, it's something that I would tell my 18-year-old self, to be like, when I first got the injury and they told me, listen, you can't play netball anymore, I was completely broken. But at that stage, I couldn't see in that, like, listen, I am not the netball player. I'm the person behind the work that actually got me to the scholarships and got me onto the court and got me to where I was at. So yeah, that is, I would say from my side, that is the best advice I would have probably given my younger self, and anybody else that actually goes into a sport where you want to make that your identity. Don't, because that's something that will be taken away from you at some stage. You will stop doing that specific sport or achievements or whatever the case might be, but nobody can take away that work ethic that goes behind it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Letchen. This has been phenomenal, getting to talk to you, getting to hear more about you as an athlete and your mindset. And I'm so excited to cheer you on for the Ironman.
Thank you.
And I hope the community will cheer you on as well. And maybe see you back at a CrossFit competition sometime in the future.
Yeah. I don't, like I said, I don't 100% know what my CrossFit future looks like. Hyrox is next, but we'll see what CrossFit is next as well. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
I love it, Letchen. Well, thanks so much for joining us for the podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. You can follow Letchen on race day in the Ironman Tracker app, which you can download to your phone, or you can search Ironman 70.3 Mossel Bay, that's MOSSELBAY, on your computer, and then look her up in the live splits to track her progress as she goes from the swim to the bike to the run. The swim should start Sunday, November 16th at about 6:45 a.m. South African time, which is 11:45 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, November 15th. So if you want to follow along, you can maybe catch her as she hops in for the swim, see how she's doing, go to bed, and then see her results in the morning. Either way, it's super cool that we as a community get to follow another athlete's progress, doing something new, exciting, and pushing their own personal boundaries of what is possible. We just saw that this past week with Mike Egan, and we're getting to see it again with an athlete like Letchen. So we'll drop a couple more episodes in this mini series, and then we'll be back in full swing in the new year. See you then.